I'm with composer Erik Anderson. I'm so excited to be having this conversation with you today, Erik. We collaborated on a song cycle, Mushroom Songs, and we will be getting into that during the interview. But first, I would love for you to introduce yourself and tell our audiences a bit about yourself, Erik.
Yes, it's great to talk to you, Maya, and glad we can do this interview. My name is Erik Anderson, and I'm from Minot, North Dakota. We're both from Minot, North Dakota, and I'm a composer, I'm a saxophonist and vocalist, and I write a variety of music in a um, concert music style as well as in jazz and others. My parents are both uh, professional musicians, classical musicians. My mom is a pianist and my dad is a cellist, and they uh, raised me with a great background in music, and it was very inspiring to make me want to uh, uh, pursue that as well.
And family is so tied into this song cycle, Mushroom Songs. I'd love for you to tell the story behind it.
So Curtis, my brother, who this song cycle is written for, has always had a fascination with mushrooms. And my mother approached me about 3 years ago about writing some songs about mushrooms for Curtis. At the time, he had just been deployed to Laredo for the National Guard, and he was there for a total of 13 months and kind of just stuck in this place where uh, he didn't have anywhere to go to do anything musical other than the piano that he brought with him and his fellow guardsmen. And uh, as it turned out, you wrote your own poetry that is wonderful and I've loved working with. And so over the last 3 years, I've chipped away at it while I've had other projects on the side. And it's been a challenging process, but I am very happy with the final product.
The subject matter of mushrooms and fungi. It's such a strange thing to be writing music about. Did you find that you had to approach it in a different way?
It it is a little strange, or I would say it's unfamiliar to most. Anytime that I would tell somebody I was working on a song cycle about mushrooms, I would usually get some pretty weird looks, like mushrooms. And usually they assume, oh, are you talking about those kind of mushrooms? Um, Thinking that it's all about psychedelics or something. Psychedelics only enter into one of the songs, which I made my own poetry for.
It's a very beautiful
But
movement, by the way. I just have to know it. I was just
Thank you.
amazed when I heard it.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm very happy with that one. Um, and yeah, approaching the mushrooms, I started by doing a little bit deeper research on fungus and mushrooms, mycelium. What are the aspects about them that tie them to the rest of nature? And what I knew some before, but learned a lot more about is how essential they are to all life. I came up with an idea over time of how to represent these mushrooms and how they would talk to each other, and they want to decompose things. And I came up with these chords that are kind of up in the upper register of the piano that are not major or minor. They represent this this thing that is neutral, not happy or sad, but just doing, and it um, it communicates with everything and makes for these networks to come together.
I want to ask how working with mushrooms in this way has shaped your relationship with music, because it sounds like there's been a lot of experimentation there.
Yeah, I'd say through this project, I've learned a lot about the philosophy. I guess my philosophy has developed to think about the natural world and how I can represent that in my music, and to not think about death as a completely negative thing. It's made me consider that more as just a part of the natural cycle of life.
I feel like that comes through very much in Carrying Communion, which is one of my personal favorites because the music that you compose to go along with it is just, it really is this awestruck kind of experience to listen to it. This reckoning with the decomposing body is, in a way, a new form of life. And I feel like you really captured the feelings of coming to terms with that through the music.
Oh yeah, I think that's uh, has to be my favorite movement of the cycle as well. And it's one of my proudest compositions to date because I feel like I really did connect deeply with the text and bringing this feeling of uh, greeting death and dealing with all the emotions there and joining the cosmos to joining everything and becoming part of everything that is around us. And I'm very happy with how I approach that to make it not only beautiful but also stark and frightening at moments. The very opening of the movement, I had a caption titling it "Fanfare of Death," and it's it's supposed to be very shocking, as most people would feel that, but then immediately uh, turns into something that's very beautiful and uh, just uh, philosophical.
Absolutely. And then the song that follows it is Mushroom Man, which feels so removed from that, and yet it feels like a perfect follow up.
I agree. They're two of my favorites, and um, when Curtis was working on the cycle in school, all of his fellow students just love Mushroom Man because it's the lightest and most fun. And putting Mushroom Man next to Carrie, and after this narrator has died and starting his journey of decomposition, then we have this figure of the Mushroom Man dancing around, gets eaten at the end. It's the same story in a way, just now the narrator is a mushroom instead of a person, we can assume. And so it's a repetition of the same cycle, just done in a different way.
What would you like listeners to hear and notice when they listen to Mushroom songs?
I'd like them to pick up on the range of emotions that are put forth and the ways in which the music will turn from something either dark to light or somewhere in between, something that's very neutral. And I think that will come through, and they'll want to hopefully have a deeper interest to look into how mushrooms work. And I I think they'll find it enjoyable and hopefully want to get to a deeper learning.
Thank you so, so much, Eric. This has been such a wonderful conversation. I have so many more questions for you, but this has been really fabulous. Thank you so much for joining me and talking about mushrooms and music and mushroom songs.
Thank you for having me, and I'm honored that this will be featured on a special.